Happy Monday, folks. In today's video, we're talking about the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors, and a lot to cover here. The Jets are targeting the Lions. Alex Anzalone will get the latest rumors on there. The Jets want a Lions coach, and they keep targeting Lions. Daniel Jeremiah's latest mock draft. Who does he have the Detroit Lions selecting? And let's meet a prospect, because Brad Holmes are meeting some players. We're going to talk about the players that he met when he's scouting up in this up-and-coming draft. But before we get into today's video, if you think it's a smart and sound idea to travel back in time to the Salem witch trials and say, I am a witch and F you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. Sometimes being a Lions fan, boy, you can make a fatal mistake. Also, take that like button with you and let the bad boy get furnoed. Let's get into today's Lions news and rumors. Right off rip, we got the biggest one here, and that's Alex Anzalone rumors, and they're popping up big time. Rumors of him leaving to do the New York Jets from Detroit. Says, talk of the Lions players following Aaron Glenn's to New York isn't new, but word is Frisco says the odds are high that Anzalone, the 9-year veteran who will become a free agent in March, will be playing for the Jets in 2026. Pauline wrote, Alex Anzalone is not expected to return to Detroit, and he's close with AG and wants to reunite with the former defensive coordinator. A reunion is more likely given the Jets' need at linebacker, as Alex Anzalone brings talent, leadership, intensity. The team needs that at the position. Now, that's correct. He does definitely bring leadership. And for an organization like the Jets, they're trying to change a culture. He is a good fit for them. Is he what he used to be? No. From a Lions fan, and look, we know he was going to be leaving the Lions in free agency because we can't pay him, right? But he's still a decent player, and I think it's actually a good move for Aaron Glenn to bring Alex Anzalone over there. They're probably going to overpay, but look, he's on the hot seat, and they need leadership over there. Will Alex Anzalone be back in Detroit? What do you guys think? G for gone, S for stay. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And guess what? The Jets, they just want to continue to poach from our Detroit Lions. Rich Simony says the New York Jets announced they have interviewed 8 candidates to fill their defensive coordinator vacancy. Head coach Aaron Glenn will soon make a decision to appoint Steve Wilks' successor. Among the options, Detroit Lions assistant Jim O'Neill could emerge as the favorite for the coordinator job. New York Jets. 1000% makes sense, right? And we're going to be losing a coach. We're going to be losing some free agents, and they are going to go to the Jets. What happens when your team is an utter disaster, the second pick in the draft, controversy, and there's a lot of controversy going for the Jets and Aaron Glenn. They got to get that defense fixed out. And I fully expect, some coaches and obviously players to get poached. I mean, they have a lot of issues for the Jets. A lot. Hell, I'm hearing rumors that AG could step down. That's how bad it is right now over there. So we know that players are going to get poached. That's common sense. We know that potentially some coaches could get poached. These are a little bit smaller underlings, and it's not like it's the coordinators like last year. Thankfully, we got a new one in OC because Morton was cheeks. But we expect this to happen. We definitely do. We got some news from Mike Payton. It says Alabama left tackle Kaydn Proctor did not play in the Shrine Bowl, but he was housed to support his Alabama teammates who were playing. While he was there, multiple teams pulled him aside to talk with him. The Lions are one of those teams. This is not a formal meeting, but it is only a shot for the Lions that will talk to him until the NFL Combine, when they can get him in the room for formal meetings. This is a good start. Man, I've been mocked Kadyn Proctor to the Lions. That was my first player that I have mocked to the Lions. And that's going to be who I consistently have the Lions drafting. And we'll get into Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft and what other think, but this is what I think. The Lions are interested in him. From Alabama. swing tackle, play left and right if need be. Hell, he could even play interior if he wanted to, if Decker returned. Everything suggests Lions have significant interest in Kaydn Proctor. Significant. Because he fits everything, and he should be there with the 17th pick. To me, he is a perfect solution to the problem right now with the offensive line. He is a solution that can fix this offensive line for many years, and that is something that we need to get. When you pick at 17, you need to get a player that's going to hold that fort down for a while. A left tackle. Remember Jeff Backus, and then you get Taylor Decker. It's important to have those tackles. You got to have that staple. So I think that's what the Lions do with the draft. They go ahead and take a tackle, and I do think it's Kadyn Proctor if he's there. Makes sense. We're going to get into the next subject here. Should the Lions draft a quarterback? D for draft, P for pass. Because, man, Mike Payton says, a source tells A to Z Sports Detroit that the Lions spent a lot of time talking with Georgia Tech quarterback Haynes King after his throwing session. Lions coach Dre Thompson is coaching DBs at the event. Spent a lot of time talking with the Nebraska cornerback Sayer White. After practice, the later Thompson was coaching White up. Who is Haynes King? He's going to want to know if the Lions talking to a quarterback here. 215 pounds out of Georgia Tech. His draft status is round, I'd say 6 through undrafted. So it's not going to be a high draft if the Lions are going to get him. This is, 6th, 7th, or undrafted player here to compete with the backup role. This past season, he had 2,951 yards, 14 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, nothing great of 68 points, or 78.6. Nothing fantastic coming out from Haynes King. But if the Lions are looking for a backup quarterback, someone that is cheap, and they believe that he can come in here and develop, or just to develop for the practice squad, that's where I would look for the Lions if you're wanting to get a quarterback. It's going to be 6th, 7th, or undrafted. The Lions have a ton of needs. Jared Goff's going to be the quarterback for the foreseeable future, so if they wanted to get one, it would be late in the draft as a developmental or potentially to fight for a backup role. I have no problem with that. I'll never have a problem with taking a quarterback or picking one up and undrafted to compete. I mean, why? There's really no big deal there. There's nothing wrong with that. I believe in every position, every single position on a team should have competition, including the quarterback position. And it doesn't even necessarily, I'm not talking about the starter. I'm talking about probably for the backup, him competing for a backup role. I believe it always get better for your team. But you got to be smart about it too, right? Everything you got to be smart where you take a developmental player, don't take him in round 3. Take him in the later rounds, okay? That makes sense, so you don't screw up the future of your draft like we have seen before. We have seen that. Daniel Jeremiah has the Lions selecting Akeem Mesidor in his latest mock draft at 17. Mesidor started West Virginia in 2020 and 2021, racking up 9.5 sacks. He transferred to Miami before 22 season, and he had 7 sacks in the first season, and injury limited him to 3 games in 23, but he came back with 5.5 sacks in 24 and looked fantastic in 25. The Canadian makes his presence felt against both run and pass, and he shows good bend, closing burst power. When his initial move is inward, Mesidor never stops battling. He also brings some versatility with the ability to shade inside the defensive tackle, pressure on the interior. He's definitely the type that the Lions are looking for, the Joshua Pascal type. 6'3", 280 pounds, big body. He is supposed to be a round 1 selection. I would say between 22 and 28. So I do think that even if the Lions didn't have a need somewhere else, that this would be a little bit of a early draft. But to be honest, just a couple picks With that said, folks, I do not believe the Lions are drafting an edge here. I believe they are taking an offensive tackle. Messidor is awesome. I do like him. I do want an edge. I 1,000% do. And I tell you what, if he was in last year's draft, damn it, I would want him. If we didn't have such a need at tackle with the issues of Taylor Decker and our offensive line, I'd be all for it. But we cannot go into the 26th season issues at tackle. You just can't do it. You're just going ahead and throwing your season away if we're going to go ahead and not address this offensive line. It would be an utter disaster. And addressing it early. Again, tackle is a premium position. We talk about edge, quarterback, tackle. Now, look, if they believe that there is a right tackle that they get in round 2, and that's the idea of Penei Sewell or whatever, go to left tackle. We don't fully know, but right now the way that everything is showing that they're going to take a tackle. But I get why he's being mocked to the Lions. Boy, it would be good to have a 1-2 combination of threat of the edge coming at the quarterback. It would be great. It would be something us Lions fans have been wanting for years. We do need that too. But tackle is just a bigger need at this point. It's not a want. It's a need. And it's hard for me to suggest anything else. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that we should take tackle? Do you think we should take edge? Should we draft a quarterback in this year's draft? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.